date!
Sure, you got it. It'll be an honor for me to be your very first date, Petra. Let's make it awesome. FBI, open up!
Hey, what's up? I think everyone who has watched anime or movies has already thought, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. This character is too dumb, I would do something else. Horror movies too? That's what there is the most of. And this idea of doing things differently in ReZero applies very well. The butterfly effect in this work is so heavy that the outcome of some stories is even scary. A simple decision at the beginning generates a national catastrophe at the end. It's bizarre, man. I think everyone who follows the channel knows the famous alternative routes, right? And for those who don't know, besides the main story where Subaru does all that stuff that appears in the anime, ReZero also has alternative stories, and they are called if stories. They were also written by the same author of ReZero, and show us what would have happened if Subaru had made other choices. Every year, on April 1st, the author releases a new story like this, to show us what would have happened if Subaru had chosen to go another way, or had changed his mind about something. All these alternative routes are accompanied by a cardinal sin. The only one missing so far is the sin of melancholy. I'm even imagining you looking at this title and saying, Baru, what the heck is this Petra if, man? You wanna get arrested, dude? Who said I'm going to get arrested? Those who go to jail are those watching the video and not subscribed, man. The FBI tracks it instantly, believe that, dude? New YouTube feature there. Who would have thought that one day I would talk about the Petra if, man? The infamous Petra if, dude. And I only discovered this story a few months ago, man, because it is very underground. A very clever guy named Setue decided to fool the little ReZero fans back in 2018, translating, in quotation marks, an what if story that the author had supposedly released. Yeah, he releases one every year, so it would be normal for him to release another. But then guys, look at the scheme, dude. He released this on April 1st. Then everyone was like, wow, new if, whatever. A lot of people believed it was official, but in reality it was a fanfic, dude. It was trolling. Hey my partners, I'm translating this new if that Kotape launched. It's official. Canon 100%, okay? But wait a little bit, man. But the name is written Petra if, dude. Are you sure that's official? Trust me. The name that our dear Setue gave this story was Petra if, starting life in a small village from zero. The story begins with Subaru, after having fought Elsa there in the first arc. He also had Reinhardt's help to defeat her, but it seems that in this story he didn't suffer so much that he needed to be rescued. He was quite injured, but he didn't have that fatal cut on his belly. And since Subaru helped Emilia defeat Elsa and recover the insignia, Emilia accepted him to go to Roswell's mansion to spend a few days there. In the main story, he was carried because he passed out, right? Because he had that fatal damage to his belly. But in this one, he managed to enjoy the trip there, so it's quite interesting. Right on the way there, Subaru already meets Arlem village, where several people and children lived. He didn't know anyone there, but he loved the air that place gave off. Many people worked happily there, and there was a certain orange-haired girl who smiled at him when he passed by.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
I don't even want to know where this is going. And since Subaru was much better health-wise than before, Roswell only allowed him to stay at the mansion for a few days. Subaru didn't like the idea that much because he wanted to stay longer there. But the one who is in charge, right, is the colorful boss. So he just accepts it. As a matter of course, Roswell tells Ram and Rem to keep an eye on Subaru, right? Because, well, the guy just shows up out of nowhere, right? Could be suspicious. So Roswell immediately orders them to keep an eye on him, right? Since the very beginning of the story didn't change in relation to the anime, he died a few times before Elsa was defeated. So he is emitting a smell of the witch. And that's why Ram and Rem already tell Roswell that he stinks of miasma. But look guys, since he didn't stay at the mansion for so long and didn't get that involved with them, he wasn't killed. His time there of 5 days ended and he had to leave the mansion. After a few days, with Subaru completely accustomed to that place, the people at the mansion recommend Arlem village for him to start living his life, right? He can't stay forever in the mansion for free, right dude? And they recommend this village because it's close to the mansion, and Subaru always speaks well of it, so it would be a good idea for him to live there too. When he started living in Arlem village, of course, at first, no one liked him. He had strange clothes, right? Very different behaviors, because he really is not from that world. The people there took a long time to approach him. The children not so much. He was very energetic, so the children sympathized with him very easily. Subaru took a long time to get used to living alone and learn what real adult life is like. And on top of that, it was even more difficult for him because he was pressured by the villagers, right? Because they didn't trust him 100%. He was always somewhat uncomfortable with that, until one night, the famous attack of demon beasts takes place in the village. And there's that kidnapping, right? Where the children are pulled into the forest. And Subaru, right, obviously, in his dashing way, the way he is, right? He wouldn't let it slide. Subaru died a few times until he managed to have a perfect outcome, saving all the children. In the last loop, where he managed to save everyone, he had to have the help of one of the maids from the mansion. And since one of them was very injured, the two decided never to help him again. But there's another thing, right guys? Since Subaru never had such great contact with the two maids, he simply didn't give a damn, dude. Okay, you don't want to help me anymore, fine. You stay in your corner and I'll stay stay in mind. Subaru was very happy to have managed to save everyone using his power, right? It has a high cost of him suffering, but at least he managed to keep everyone alive. And since Subaru managed to save practically everyone from the Maju attack, the people in the village begin to have a very good view of him. They begin to respect him much more than before. After all, he had become a hero of that village. But one person in specific became extremely grateful, and that person was the little Petra. And guys, the same thing happens in the anime, okay? She begins to have much greater affection for him after he saved her and the people of the village. Subaru spends some time living in that village. He helps the people, learns more and more how that world works, and Petra gets closer and closer to him. Petra really liked talking to Subaru about life, and liked showing him how she was becoming a good maid. Subaru said that maids were perfection to him. I think that's why she was turning into one. After a while, Petra ends up getting sick, and Subaru runs desperately to ask Roswaal for help. Subaru begs to accompany them to the capital because the legendary healer called Felix was there. Roswaal accepts him to go with them there to bring Felix to the village and cure Petra. Emilia was participating in the royal selection, but she wasn't doing very well, which is why only Subaru and Felix return to Roswaal's mansion. Arriving there, Felix manages to cure Petra and he prepares with Subaru to be able to return to the capital to bring the people back. But as soon as they were returning, the witch cult ends up attacking them. And on this return trip, Subaru and Felix were scheduled to meet Julius and Crush, right? Because they had several soldiers who wanted to face the whale, the famous white whale raid, right dude? Subaru, after having died 5 times, manages to overcome the cult commanded by Betelgeuse. Of course, logically. Without the help of Anastasia and the soldiers, he would not have succeeded, right? What motivates him is going to see Petra again.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
I'm getting scared now, guys, not gonna lie. The problem is that Subaru thought he had won, but Felix and Crush were kidnapped by the members who were left of the cult. It suggests that it is one of the fingers that Betelgeuse still had, right? That was left over from the battle. Crush tries to get away and save Felix from being killed, but Crush is caught by the invisible hands and ends up playing Twister like Rem. F for Crush, guys. Felix was about to be the next one killed, but before that happened, Regulus appears in Guse's hideout and sees that Felix is ready to be broken. But Regulus has a very unexpected reaction. He thinks Felix is a beautiful girl and says he will make her one of his wives. This shit is hilarious as hell. Of course, Goose doesn't agree, right? After all, Felix was one of his victims. He wasn't going to hand him over to Regulus for free like that. But you guys know what happens if you contradict Regulus, right, man? Regulus kills the fingers that were keeping Felix trapped, takes Felix and leaves. Man, how unexpected this is, dude. Subaru manages to return to the village after having escaped the cult. Apparently, since Emilia wasn't there, Betelgeuse gave up on attacking again and left. Subaru manages to meet Petra again, and she confesses her love for him, and they start living together. That's enough internet for today. Subaru receives the title of Honorary Knight for having fought against the witch cult, and having, in quotation marks, defeated them. After a few years, when Petra is already of legal age, she and Subaru go to the capital, where he works as a white knight for the kingdom, while she fulfills her dream of having a little shop, man. Of course, besides that, they get married and have a daughter named Deneb. Sometimes the two visit Arlem village to say hi to the people, and Subaru says that this is the life he always wanted to have. Honestly, guys, I don't know how there were people who believed this story, dude. Man, there are so many plot holes, dude. Like Subaru going to live in a village because Roswaal wanted him to, or Subaru going to the capital to bring Felix and Felix agreeing. Man, besides Regulus taking Felix as a wife, dude, what the fuck, you know? Man, I swear to you, I laughed a lot reading this shit, dude. And my man Witch Cult told me that there was a time on Facebook when this story was becoming a reason for war to find out if it was really true or if it was fanfic. After a while, it was confirmed that it was really an invented story. And you don't even need much, right, dude? There are many things that don't match. And the most important thing is that this story is not even tied to a cardinal sin that Tepe usually does. Including, if you look for this story to read, you won't find a link like this on a website, understand? Because this story was deleted. It was only posted on Reddit in 2018. And you can only read it again if you use the Wayback Machine, because it really doesn't exist anymore. But I found it funny to read because this story was a troll on the level of the Lustif, right, man? For those who don't remember, the original Lustif was initially a troll by the author. Then later he saw, damn, it's cool to do stories and stuff, and started doing them. But this one was too, man. I thought it was really funny. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you really liked the video, consider joining the membership club. It helps a lot and I will be eternally grateful. And even if everything goes wrong, you can always start from zero again.